Hey, what's up, everyone? Adam here with Probably Got This, and today I want to talk to you about one of the new mythic items that I think is ridiculously good, and that is the Helm of Sithis. When I first saw this helm, I was like, this might be pretty solid, and I was a little blown away with some of the stats, but, I was curious, particularly with the stat line in general, because there's like 4 stats for this helmet. So I'm going to explain why I feel like this helm is so good, and from my experience so far on the PTS, what I've really liked about it. And I want to show you guys kind of what I've been testing with it and why I think this can impact certain builds. And something to keep in mind again is this is the public test server, so these stats could change tomorrow. You never know. So it's just something that isn't technically live yet, but right now this is what we have on the first go around. And so this is something, again, I am very excited for. But if you have any questions about this, you can always drop a comment below. You can always come by the stream, twitch.tv/probablygotthis, Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. You can join our Discord too. And thank you to all the patrons. Thank you for the support. If you want to become a patron, check out the link below in the description. So if you're unfamiliar with what the Gaze of Sithis does, so it is a mythic item. And again, to have mythic items, you've got to find these leads through the system of antiquities. Okay, and so the mythic item is a one-piece set. And what this does is it's going to add 5,000 max health. It's going to add 500 health recovery. It's going to add 10,760 armor. And it's going to reduce your block mitigation to 0. So there is the drawback. It basically reduces that block mitigation to 0. So as you can see, this adds a lot of things for your character on just one item. There's 4 stat lines for this item, you all. The 5,000 health is absurd. And yes, health is not necessarily the make it or break it for tanks or, whatever, right? But 5,000 health is a lot on one item. And I'll show you why this is a lot later on, okay? The health recovery is really nice as well, especially, again, since it's on one item. The 10,760 armor is also massive, and I'll show you guys that here in a second as well. And then the block mitigation being reduced to 0. This is something that I have tried to test, and I'm going to keep testing to see how good or how bad this is technically. And we've tested on some hard monsters and some hard vet dungeon content. And from what we've tested, that still, even with this stat line, we can still survive some really heavy hits. And so I'll talk about that here in a second. So for me, this set is such a game changer because this just gives you so many stats, again, on one item, okay? You don't even have to run this on a tank. I've been testing this on a tank, but I also ran this on my Magicka DPS because I was trying to figure out, okay, if I put this on my Magicka DPS, yeah, I might lose a little bit of damage, but I literally am going to be able to take so many more hits. And so you'll see some clips in here where I'm doing a world boss with this on, and yes, my damage is suffering and stuff like that, but I'm soloing a world boss, and I know soloing a world boss isn't necessarily that hard in some cases, but this item is really a nice option if you don't want to run the Ring of the Pale Order. Obviously, they have completely different effects, but this item, in my opinion, it just gives you so much versatility with your build, and I'm going to show you why. So let's talk about the first stat line, the 5,000 max health. Okay, I want you to look at my character screen here. This is a tank, okay? And typically with a tank, you don't have 64 points into Magicka. You have more points into health and some into Magicka, some into stamina. This is a Templar tank. Right now, with no points into health, I've got 53.9k health without any points into health, okay? We've got 24.7k max Magicka, and we got 22.1k max stamina as a tank, okay? Just think about that a second, okay? Just think about that. And the reason I want to show you this is, so I want to go over to the attribute screen, and I want to show you that when you use this, I want to show you how much health you actually go up when you just put all your points into health, right? So I'm at 53.9k. If I put all my points into health, I only go up 7.8k health, okay? So I can get above 60k health with this build that I'm using currently. Again, I've not tested every single possibility, but I can get above 61k max health. Max health is not the end-all be-all for tanks. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to survive longer if you have more health, but it's just kind of interesting how high you can get this and how nice this item can augment a tank in so many ways and give you more versatility. So this is what the point I'm trying to make. I put 64 points into health, and I got 7.8k resources, okay? So I take that out, and then I'll put this back into Magicka. This helmet is giving you basically 2/3 of health of what you would get if you maxed out your health attributes in one item. That is why this helmet is so insane to me, because as a tank, okay, depending on the content that you're running, okay, again, we'll get to the block mitigation in a second, but depending on the content that you're running, as a tank, if you don't want to slot as much points into health and run this instead, you could put maybe 15 points into health and then put the rest into magic and stamina, and you might be able to use different abilities as a tank that you normally wouldn't be able to, because this is going to make up for 5,000 health. And so that is one reason I think this is just something that's just crazy. And when it comes to other builds too, for a solo build, for instance, you can have another 500, or you can have another 5,000 health without even having to do anything on your enchants or anything like that, right? But something you can run is, like, on this character, I'm running this Sithis, I'm running the Stonekeeper's Pauldrons that give us 3 stats, I'm running Plague Doctor, which gives us a lot of health, and I'm running Crimson mixed with Tormentor, because again, I'm using a Templar. But if you want to switch Crimson out with a set that helps your teammates out, you could switch it out with Claw of Yonakrin, which gives you some nice buffs for your teammates. So if you wanted to run something like this, you could switch that out and it would still be a solid setup for a tank. Now again, this is not a build video. This is something that I've been testing out on the PTS, but it's just something that I feel like with that stat line, with the first stat line there, it gives you a lot of versatility, okay? Now, the health recovery, I think, is solid. I'm not going to spend much time on that. And then let's talk about the armor real quick. The armor, it gives this is something that augments your spell resistance and physical resistance. Right now, we're at 36.7k spell resistance and 34k physical resistance, okay? We take this off. This drops us to 23k spell resistance and 20.5k physical resistance. It adds a lot of beef to you. It really, really helps. And this is something that I really like for a solo DPS. If you want to run this and just be a complete tank when you're a DP, but being able to do a lot of DPS, in conjunction, this is amazing because you're getting that armor stat line with that health stat line and with that health recovery stat line in one piece of armor. A lot of times you have to get these kind of stats, you know, from multiple other pieces, okay? Now, let's talk about the negative effect, right? Reduces your block mitigation, because for some people, this is going to be something like, I don't know if I want to run this because of that stat line. So I want to show you guys some clips. I'll have some clips on the screen of me doing Vet Scale Caller in the first boss, okay? And in that first boss, that troll or ogre or whatever you want to call it has a really heavy charged attack. And so we were testing, and without any shields or anything like that, I just blocked and I still survived the hit. Now, there are going to be some one-shot mechanics that you can't avoid. There's going to be vet trials that are going to have some mechanics that are going to have some even higher damage numbers that you will not probably survive in. But I was trying to test, and I was giving suggestions from our chat of some ways to test this quickly. And so without any shields or anything, you can still survive an attack from that, right? Now, if you pop a shield, if you pop multiple shields, you'll survive perfectly fine. And just, I want you to know that when it says block mitigation to 0, that doesn't mean that you can't prevent you being stunned or anything like that. You're going to be able to prevent that because you'll see in the clips that I have times where I got knocked down when I wasn't blocking, but when I did block, I didn't get knocked down, right? So that is something that you need to keep in mind, that it still allows you to prevent stun and stuff like that, but it just, you're going to take a lot more damage. So you might slot your CP points into something different, because now since your block mitigation is going to reduce to 0, you could use those points somewhere else. And so this is just something I think it makes builds, it might make it a little bit more creative when it comes to trying to implement this into a build. Now, again, I'm not saying that this is going to be the meta build, but what I'm saying is I feel like this mythic item is very, very cool and really, really good for what you're getting with it. Now, I don't know what the PvP implications are. I don't play PvP much. I know some people are saying this is going to be good in PvP as well, but for me, I'm looking more of it as PvE. And you'll also notice too that I have Divine's traits on all this, except for this is infused. And I was trying to test the highest health I could get and everything, You could even switch these traits up. I mean, you could do infused, reinforced, sturdy, that kind of stuff. But I was trying divines out because I'm like, hey, like, let's just see how much health I can actually get with this. And let's try to use abilities that scale off of that. So like our shield will scale off of, our max health and stuff, right? And so this is just something that, again, I am really, really excited for. Again, this could be nerfed and tomorrow. But I really think that if you are interested in trying something different or wanting to try a cool mythic item from this new Blackwood chapter, you should totally check out this Sithis helm. I really, really like it. And if you want me to kind of review or go over any other mythic items, let me know down in the comments below. I'd like to see what you guys think about this. What do you in general think about this helmet? Do you think it's something that you want to try running? Do you think it's completely stupid? What do you think? I'd like to hear your thoughts below. And again, something to note is I do hope to have a video on how to actually get this with all the mythic leads, but I haven't found all of them yet. This is just on the PTS. And so again, I'd like to hear your feedback. Let me know what you guys and gals think about this helm. But again, I'm going to hope that this doesn't get nerfed. But check out all of our stuff in the description. We got twitch.tv/BroWyGotThis. We got the social media, the Patreon, and we have the website below. And lastly, make sure to like, subscribe, heavy attack that bell icon to stay up to date on all the Blackwood content, all the ESO content in the channel. But until next time, y'all, remember to have faith, be great, and I'll see you on ESO.